Today, on Be Something Wonderful, Living in the End, the Neville Goddard Way. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I got an email from a subscriber today that said, hey, Tom, I've been living in the end of my wish fulfilled. But then some events came up. Inevitably, these events threw me for a loop. And now I feel like I'm not in my wish fulfilled. I'm not feeling it. So what do I have to do to consistently live in the end? And what happens? Some events come up that I feel like I'm closer to feeling my wish fulfilled. And then other events come up that make me feel like I'm not feeling my wish fulfilled. Could you unpack that? Well, guys, we're going to unpack this today and more. Here's what I want to say. Whenever you're asking what you have to do to live in the end or to feel that wish fulfilled, you are focusing on the means and not the end. Your focus is to accept, your only job is to accept the end. Accept that it's done. Accept that your wish is fulfilled. Accept it with gratitude. Accept it with love. Right? Your only job is to live in that end, accepting that it's already done. You don't have to worry about the how or what to do. Right? Let's unpack this a little bit more. This is what Neville says. When you ask yourself what you can do to transcend your present limitation of life, you are dwelling upon the means. So that's what you're asking. When those three of the events come up and throw you for a loop, now you're asking, what do I do to get back to living in the end, to transcend my present limitations, right? You're dwelling on the means. What does Neville say? God does not ask you to consider the means, right? But to define the end. How do you define the end? By how does it feel? How does it feel to already have your desire? How does it feel to already be that person you want to be? Is it a feeling of gratitude? It's a feeling of conviction? It's a feeling of freedom? How does it feel? That's your only job. That's how you define the end, right? You don't have to worry about the how or what to do. There's nothing to do but accept the end. Remember what Neville says, acceptance of the end wills the mean to your full manifestation in 3D reality. That's big, right? What scripture say? I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and last, the beginning and the end. It's what Jesus said. God never reveals the middle, the mystery of his ways, right? Never reveals it. You don't need it. God is the desire and the fulfillment of it. Why? Because when God desires something, it's fulfilled in that instant. It's done. It's accepted. The gift's accepted and it's done. That's why it's the Alpha and Omega, the first and last and beginning and the end. Right? That's your only job. There's nothing to do, right? And then as the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure, for acceptance of the end wills the means to the end. This is what wills the means to the full manifestation in 3D reality. This is what Neville's talking about. You're indifferent to failure. The possibility of non-fulfillment is not possible. It's zero. Once you accept the end, there's no possibility that it won't be fulfilled. It's a done deal. It must be fulfilled. It must happen, right? By accepting the end, you are choosing the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is big because you said that these 3D events throw you in a loop. They throw you for a loop. They get you feeling something different than your wish fulfilled. Hear this. You're letting the dead 3D events, right? The effects of the 3D world decide how you're going to feel. They are choosing the feelings for you. Hear this. This is big. Instead, when you accept the end, you are now choosing the feeling of your wish fulfilled. That means any event that happens in 3D reality that comes up cannot possibly affect you. You've already chosen the end. You've already chosen how you're going to feel. Right? Those effects will not have any effects on you. Judge them all as good and very good. That's what God did when he created heaven and earth. It's all good. It's only when you judge them as negative or judge them as making you feel bad. That's what gets you off track from not living in the end or not feeling that wish fulfilled. That's big, right? It's acceptance. It's faith. That's why Neville says faith is feeling. It's faith. It's a conviction that your wish is already fulfilled, right? So what does it feel like to think and live in, right? Think from and live in the end. Well, it's peaceful, right? It's gratitude. You're feeling gratitude. You're feeling joy. You're feeling free. You're feeling powerful. You're feeling loving. You are feeling like, I got it. It's done. That's a good feeling, right? And then the 3D conditions will follow you. They'll follow your feeling. They'll follow your inner state. So as opposed to your feelings following the conditions, letting the conditions choose your feelings, you choose your feelings and then the conditions follow you. So stop chasing this wild goose chase of chasing conditions that feel good. Instead, feel good and the conditions will chase you. That's big, right? Remember, reality is a mirror, right? It's a mirror and it's a smoke and mirrors. It's a 3D world is a world of smoke and mirrors, right? You're creating it from within. Nothing is created on the outside, right? So this is what I call the 3D pause. Whenever an event comes up, whatever it is, and you're going to see events every day, pause. Do the 3D pause. Judge them not. Everything's good and very good. It's only when you react to it and you don't pause, right? You react to it, and then it starts making you feel bad, right? That your inner state starts changing, right? And then you have more thoughts, and then more events come up to confirm those thoughts. And this is how you get in the cycle of thought feeling, right? And then bad goes to worse. So instead of that, good should go to best and better, right? That's what you want. When you react to the world of conditions, you are allowing the conditions to choose how you feel. Hear this. This is a huge point. When you react to the world of conditions, to the dead world of effects, you are allowing those conditions or effects to choose how you feel. Right? That's how you create, and now you're creating a 3D world of smoke and mirrors, right? So the effects become the cause of like thoughts and feelings. Those effects, those conditions now become the cause of other thoughts and feelings that are negative. And now you're in a downward spiral. That's how that happens. Now you're going, what do I have to do to get back to living in the end? The only thing all that you ever have to do is accept the end. And then judge every event as good and very good, because it is. Everything that happens after that is on the path to your wish fulfilled, right? Because otherwise it becomes a wild goose chase, right? Where you chase conditions or effects in hoping of feeling better, in hoping that, I hope those feel like my wish fulfilled. What if they don't, right? That's what you're doing. Instead, you decide. Don't give your power away, and you're giving all your power away to the 3D effects, to the dead conditions of the 3D world. Take your power back. Don't let those 3D conditions choose for you. You choose. And then those 3D conditions follow you. The world yields to your feelings, right? The world yields to you. The conditions yield to you. Remember, conditions chase your inner state, right? That's big. So this is big. Here's the key. By accepting the end, you are choosing how you want to feel first, and then the 3D conditions follow you. They chase you. The world comes to you, right? That's big. By accepting the end, by knowing that your wish is fulfilled, by feeling that faith, that conviction, that gratitude. When you do that, now you're choosing how you want to feel first, and then the conditions must mold to that feeling. They must become your inner state. That's big, right? The world starts coming to you. This is what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls causing the effects, as opposed to being at the effect of the 3D effects. Right? Think about that. You're the effect of the effects when you let the effects and the conditions control your feelings or how you feel, right? So what did in Matthew 6:33, this is what it means by, but first seek his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added on to you. That's what God was talking about. First, choose to live in the end, in your imagination, in your inner world of wish already being fulfilled. First, do that. When you do, everything else will be added on to you in the 3D world. Everything else will manifest as you seek that inner state first. When you seek the kingdom or that inner state or that imaginal feeling of wish already fulfilled, everything else comes to you. Don't be controlled by already manifested conditions or even past conditions or past memories, right? All of those do not have control. You do, right? You make the decision. You choose, right? And then in the Bible, in Daniel, it talks about the lion's den. I'm sure everyone's heard about this, right? Daniel worked for the king. He was one of the king's commissioners, right? High up there, right? And Daniel was so well thought of, right? It was said that he possessed an extraordinary spirit, right? He was so well thought of, the king planned to appoint him over the entire kingdom. Of course, the other commissioners and the other governors were jealous. So they were trying to find a way to get Daniel, get something on him, right? Get some dirt on Daniel. But they couldn't get any dirt on Daniel. Daniel was extraordinary. He was an extraordinary spirit, right? He was connected to that power, that God and wisdom within. They couldn't get anything on him. He was faithful, it was said. So they had no evidence to convict him. So they go, well, the only way we can get him then is to say that the only God that he can pray to is the king, and no outside God, right? So now Daniel couldn't, they're saying they passed a decree that said if you pray to any God other than the king, you shall be thrown in the lion's den. Hear this, right? So sure enough, Daniel was faithful. So Daniel continued to pray. He knew that the document was signed, that the decree was signed. Even after the document was signed and he found out, he still, it said, entered his house with a roof with the windows that opened to Jerusalem, right? And then he continued praying 3 times a day, giving thanks like he always did. Hear this. This is big, right? This is you, right? The outside world are those jealous commissioners, right? That's the outside world. That's your doubts, that's your fears, that's your limitations, trying to get something on you, trying to shake you off your wish fulfilled, trying to shake you from living in the end. But Daniel wasn't shaken. He was faithful. He continued to go within and pray, right? This is him going within. He continued praying. There's that number 3 again. That means wholeness, complete, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? The Trinity, giving thanks. Thanks in advance. Right? Gratitude in advance, knowing it's already his. He was not shaken by any of it. Right? So then, of course, the king's men saw him praying. And and the king, remember, loved Daniel. He did not want to throw him in the lion's den. But because the law was passed, the king had to follow the orders. So they threw him in the lion's den. And they put a stone over the mouth of the den. They closed him in. He went within again. Right? Closing out the 3D world, closing out those jealous co-workers or those jealous co-commissioners, right? He went within, and then there were lions down there, right? But Daniel turned his back on the lions. He turned his back on the 3D world and looked within, went within his imagination, his wish fulfilled, looked to that light within him. And then the next morning, the king was so worried. The king got no sleep. Remember, the king loved him. That's God. That God always loves you no matter how much off track you get or how much that you might think that your doubts and fears or desires are going to get you. God believes in you just like the king did. And the king found out that Daniel was alive and that his God, Daniel's God, saved him. He was saved by his imagination. That's his salvation, right? No injury was found on him because he trusted in God. That's what we're talking about. That's the kind of faith and conviction of living in the end, right? No 3D event can shake you, just like Daniel, who was unharmed by those lions because he turned his back on the 3D world. He turned his back on doubt and fear and limitation, right? No matter what the outside 3D world conditions show you, have faith in your wish fulfilled. Live in the end, and then you shall have it all. That's the promise. All of it will be added on to you. That is how to live in the end the Neville Goddard way. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen, our website at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@besomethingwonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great love, this is Tom. See you soon.